How you guys doing? You might see here we have ourselves a 1997 Chevrolet Suburban. And if I had to argue with you, I'd tell you this sucker just rolled off the assembly line. Probably not. But anyways, I'm kind of a Suburban guy. I had a bunch of Suburbans before, and I like daily driving a Suburban. And we would like to have a nice family rig. I've got 4 children, so it'd be nice to have a big family rig that has a lot of room that we can put luggage and kids and dogs and whatever else in and just go on, hit the highway. So you may be looking at this going, seriously, Aaron? Are you kidding us right now? This is your fine piece of machinery that you're gonna throw your family in and head down the highway? And the answer is yes. Maybe not in its current form, but the answer is yes. So my goal with this project is to turn it into a decent daily driver and have it look decent and be comfortable and be able to take it on a family trip. If, let's just be honest, my wife already has one planned. So I've got a little bit of time to get this going. She's not on board with this plan. She would rather hop on one of them birds that fly around the sky. I prefer to keep all 4 wheels on the ground. I'm not afraid of flying. I just don't do it if I don't have to. So anyways, I want to get this fixed up. She wants to fly, she can fly. I'll meet her there so we don't have to get a rental car. You see what I'm doing here? Works out good. Anyways, 97 Suburban. Picked it up for 600 bucks from a lady whose husband passed away, and supposedly when he passed away he was doing a little bit of work on it. She has no idea anything about it, and since he passed away somebody busted out both rear quarter windows. But I lucked out and found a nice set in the junkyard, and I have all the stuff to put them in. Now, I've never done it before, but it's a lot of stuff I've never done before, and we try to do it anyways. So I'm gonna go grab the other camera. I'll bring you guys in here and show you this beautiful piece of machinery, and then we'll get started to see if it'll run. All right, well, I got you guys out here. I've got the smaller camera that I can walk around with easier, and I just figured I'd give you guys just a little tour of this thing before we get started trying to make it run. So start out at the back, work our way forward, because our endpoint will be under the hood, and it's where we need to be to make it run. So like I said, the windows have been busted out for who knows how long. This thing's been sitting for, let's see, the tags are 7 to 22, so probably 3 years. I know it's 24 and that says 22 and math doesn't add out, but I always remember when you're looking at plates, that's the expiration date. So 3 years, let's just say 3 years. Anyways, here's the back end of this thing. It's kind of dirty and maybe a little moldy from the windows being gone, and it's full of crap. We've got a Delphi fuel pump. That's brand new. We've got a fuel sending unit that somebody decided it would be a good idea to cut the fittings off of. That's not that great of an idea. Sock, install kit, another sock, ring. All right, well, there's a good chance we might be dropping a tank in this video and doing a fuel pump. So that's the wiring harness for a fuel pump. That is a door panel, so I'm assuming maybe there's one missing somewhere. We got parts. It's always good when you got parts, or it could be really bad when you got parts. What do we have in here? 3rd row seat. Needs to be recovered, but we'll work something out with that. Maybe blankets or something, who knows. This piece is the piece that goes over there that's missing. Dang, I almost got it right back in the right spot. Back seat. Once again, seats are in pretty good shape. Carpet and seats are really dirty. We're missing a speaker grill, but we have it right there. I'm not sure, ashtray maybe? We're gonna do a custom delete on that anyways. But yeah, all there but dirty. You may be wondering why we've got a nice tarp sitting in the back seat, and I'll tell you. That's the 2 quarter windows wrapped up so they don't get broken. And we'll come up front and we've got more nasty. But there, oh, I take that back. I was gonna say there ain't even a crack in this dash, but there is one crack over there. And I'll tell you what, if I've ever smelled the bottom of a dried up pond, that is the bottom of a dried up pond. I've left this thing set here with doors, all 6 doors open for days. Like, leave them open during the day while I'm here and then close them when I leave, trying to let it dry up and air out, and it's bad. Like, yeah, so anyways, typical. Edge of the driver's seat's wore off, but it's been professionally recovered. Packaging tape. We got the typical I live in the South camo seat covers, and according to my odometer here, she's got a whopping 367,313 miles on her. This one might not be that easy to get going. It might not get going, but if it don't, we'll just throw another motor in it. One way or another, we're gonna make it go. We'll figure something out. So, haven't seen any snakes yet. Haven't seen any mice yet. I'm sure they're in there, but what we got in here? Face mask. You can tell this thing's been sitting since 22. There's dang COVID masks all over the place. We got WIC card. Certificate of live birth. I may see if I can get a hold of the people and get that back to them. They may need that. So, let's pop the hood. I did switch this hood out off of a parts truck that I had because the hood that was on here was in really bad shape. I was going to get rid of the rest of the parts truck, so I went ahead and switched it out so I had a good hood. But she said that he was working on something under the hood, something about a spider or something, and I'm gonna go out on a limb and assume that she meant the distributor, because we've got distributor cap. That appears to be new. That's a rotor, not. And we've got an old, rusty, dirty distributor that I'm assuming was taken out of here. I guess the belt was squeaking. AC stop leak. Apparently that's not working. Apparently this thing takes more than one rotor. We got a cap. We've got a door latch. That's interesting, and I bet I know where it goes because the back door on this side doesn't open. I'm gonna assume that's a jumper wire. Guys, if I'm not filming very good today, this is a brand new camera that I just got. Not really used to it, so we're yeah. I don't know. Map sensor. I'm just gonna get right to it. I mean, this is what it is. I'm gonna go get a battery, put it in there. We'll check the fluids. I'll hit the key, see if the motor even spins over, because if it doesn't, we might as well just stop right there, because then we're going to take another path. So first things first, we'll get a battery in there, we'll hit the key, see what happens. I want to thank my friend Jeff, because doesn't know it, but he left this battery here for his truck that I'm working on, and I happen to need a side post to do this, and the only side post that's laying around here. So thanks, Jeff. I'm using your battery. And yeah, so we've got a side post. We've got battery cables, but the bolts that bolt the battery cables to the battery are gone. So I guess I'll go try to find some bolts to bolt the battery to the cables, and then we'll continue where we left off. Alright, I found some bolts that should work, hopefully. And we've got that cable's going to the alternator, so I'm going to go out on a limb and say that that's our positive. Okay, I didn't even notice that. We've got a ground here. It has a stud and everything in it. And then we've got two positives, I guess. One of the positives goes to the fuse center, so I guess I'm gonna have to hook both those positives up, which doesn't make a whole lot of sense, but somebody did something goofy here. Okay, now that I know that, I don't have to figure out which one's positive and which one's negative anymore. Alright, I'm going to go get a key because I've forgotten it the last 3 times I've come out here. I'm going to get a wrench to tighten that down. I'm trying to see if that map sensor's been replaced or if it needs to be replaced. But I guess we'll figure that out later. I'll be right back. Got the battery hooked up. Like I said we were going to do before, I'm going to go ahead and check the fluids. Got our oil here. Not in the greatest shape, but not the worst oil I've ever seen or smelled. And it doesn't smell like gas or anything, so should be alright. Does not look like there's a drop of anything that resembles coolant. I can hear water in there. I'm going to go ahead and just pour a little bit of coolant in there. See if it comes running out or anything, because that's a good indication. I'll be right back. Alright. Alright, it didn't even take a whole gallon and it's holding water now, so it means there was some in there, probably just a slow leak or evaporated or something. I don't see anything running out from under the truck, so. Alright, we should have battery juice. We've got coolant or water or something of that sort in the radiator. We've got decent oil in the motor. I'm gonna go hit the key, see what happens. All right, there's a 50-50 chance this thing's just gonna fire up. I doubt it, but there's a 50-50 chance. So let's see what happens. Okay, well, I can hear it. I don't know if you guys heard it or not, but I heard it kind of like spitting and firing back through the exhaust. Maybe a little in the intake, which tells me that maybe the timing's just not right. And they got it tightened down so we can't turn it. Let me turn the key on and just double check we got fuel pressure. I'm sure we do because it was trying to do something. I don't know how well you guys are going to be able to see this, but back here on the fuel rail there's a bleeder, pressure port, whatever, and I got the key on, so there's fuel that smells pretty good like fuel up in the rail, and it did spray out. I don't know that it didn't like shoot all over the place, but some did come out, so we have fuel. I think I'm gonna have to dig in there and check into that timing, but first off I'm gonna try starting it one more time, see what happens. Yeah. The way it's spitting and sputtering, it tells me it's trying to fire at the wrong time. So I'm going to get all that intake stuff out of the way and maybe pull the #1 spark plug wire, see if we can bump this thing over and find out where #1 is. Okay, well, as you may be able to tell, the Suburban kind of morphed locations. We got some rain today and the sun came back out and it was really hot and humid and nasty, and I just got to the point where it was just, I don't want to say it was unbearable because I could bear it, but I was just hot and soaking wet and sweaty, and why be out there getting blisters in the sun when you got a perfectly good covered area to work. So called up my buddy, he came over, helped me move it, and we got it up here. We kind of shot the bull and stuff, and yeah. So anyways, as you heard when it was cranking, it kind of sounds like it's put, which that's probably a bad rendering, or you know what I mean. You know what I'm talking about. It sounds like it's backfiring in the intake is what I'm trying to get at. So I went ahead, and while my buddy was still here, I pulled the #1 spark plug out, stuck my finger in the hole, had him bump it over till it blew my finger out, and everything that I could find. I've done these distributors before, but it's been a while. I know you have to time them on a scan tool, which we'll go through all that kind of stuff, but in order to time it on the scan tool, you have to get the distributor close enough to that the truck will run. I mean, like, if you can't get it to run, you have to set it with the scan tool to 0 and then let the computer do the timing, to the best of what I remember. I got to do a little bit of research still, but anyways, blew my finger out. I found the timing mark on the timing cover. It's really hard to see, but I've been all the way around the balancer and I can't find a mark on the balancer. So we're just gonna go with, it blew my finger out, and that was the second time. I'm pretty sure I got it at top dead center. I can't see down in the hole. I guess I could grab a long screwdriver and stick it in there and see if I hit a piston. And that still won't tell me 100% that we're on the exhaust stroke, or on the compression stroke. But it blew my finger out pretty good. I usually have pretty good luck picking the right one. And gonna stick a screwdriver in there. Yeah, there's a piston there. So it's up. We're gonna take the benefit of the doubt that it's on the compression stroke. Then I'm gonna show you what I found. So took the screws off of the cap, took the cap off. Rotor should be pointing over here. Rotor's pointing back at the firewall. Now, if you look online and all that stuff, there's mixed information, but this particular one should be pointing at number 1. As you can see on the cap, the number 1 wire goes right here. Now, there is other ones that the number 1 wire inside the cap ends up going back here, which this one does not. It goes right there. That's number 1. So what I'm gonna do, pop the distributor up, rotate it 180 degrees, drop it right back in where it falls into the oil pump, and that should be exactly 180 degrees. That should get us really close. We'll throw the cap back together. We'll throw the number 1 spark plug wire back in, and then we'll see if she starts up then. So let's get it done. All right, I already took the hold down loose and got it out of the way. We're just gonna lift this straight up, turn it around 180 degrees, and set it right back in. And I think we got it. I know you guys can't really see much, but you can tell I'm in here working. And cannot see if the distributor is all the way back down. I think it is. Let me grab a flashlight just to double check. I thought I had one out here already. Always really important to check, because you can get it not all the way in and it'll still work and pump oil all over the darn place. Yeah, alright, it's all the way back in. I'll get our tie down back in there. And, ow! Get it all tightened back down. Seriously? I'm gonna leave this a little bit loose because we're still a chance we might have to turn it a little bit. So I got it snug. And now we'll set our cap back on, and then we'll lose our screws, and then I'll say a bunch of words that I'm going to have to edit out of the video, and yeah. What in the heck? Okay. Thought I left that loose enough we could turn it a little bit, but I guess not. There we go. There we go. All right. Stick our number 1 spark plug back in. I know you guys can't see me doing this, but just throwing the spark plug in real quick. All right. That. Put our wire back on. Put all our intake stuff back up just for the best chance of it. Hey, here it is. Found the plug-in for our map sensor, and I just found the spot where the map sensor goes. This one is broke. I have another truck over there. I don't think it's gonna have it, but I'm gonna go look real quick. I'll be right back. Okay, the other truck didn't have it, so I just ended up calling it a day, and me and my little one went up to the parts store, got us a new one. You don't want to know what that cost. I don't recommend going and buying one. Hope you don't need to. I think maybe somebody broke the hold down on this, but it's in there, so that's a plus. So we'll get our air intake stuff all back on here. Maybe. Oh, come on. It's not 100%, but it's on there. I left the battery hooked up overnight, which was a dumb idea, because I don't know if this has a draw on it or anything, but I'm gonna go grab the key and we'll find out. Alright. Still got juice, rolled the window down. I'm gonna hit the key, see what happens. What in the heck? Well, apparently it kicked the starter out. Oh man. Alright, well I guess I'm gonna jack it up and get underneath and see what's going on with the starter. And yeah, I'll get back with you and give you an update in a minute. Alright, well, you're never gonna believe this, but I guess, so I pulled the starter out, and no shocker, it was bad. I kind of already knew that. And so I went, took it out. When I was taking it out, I found like household wire nuts on the exciter wire, and the exciter wire was just stripped and wrapped in a loop around the little stud on the starter, and just had a nut on it. And the eyelet on the battery cable going to the starter, like half of it was missing. It was just kind of like slid in there and the nut tightened down. So needless to say, not that great. So anyways, I got the starter out, I went to the parts store, got another one, and apparently the camera guy got tired of waiting for me to get back, because he went home, and then when I came back, I just, you know, threw the starter back in, fixed all the wiring, and it didn't get filmed. So you get what I'm getting at. I just once again came back, did it, and didn't film anything. So I gotta go grab the wrenches to tighten that battery down. I did try to crank it after I put the starter in yesterday, and the battery wasn't having it. So I put it on the charger overnight and went and did some other stuff. So we got it back in. I gotta tighten the cables down. We'll hit the key and see what happens. When you're doing these side post batteries, make sure you always use the proper tools, because when you don't, these factory bolts get stripped out, and you don't always have a pair of pliers with you to tighten them down. So yeah, it's an 8mm or 5/16. They're pretty much the same, but use the right one. It's really easy. Alright, battery cables are clean and kind of tight. Yeah, alright, now they're good and tight. Bring you guys a little closer to the party here so you can see what's going on, and see if we can get some fire in the pipes. Hey, the windows go down a lot faster when the battery's charged up. I hear the fuel pump run, so just gonna assume that it's working, so see what happens. Seems like it's trying. At least it's not backfiring through the intake anymore like it was. Give it a slight timing adjustment. reprime the fuel pump and see what happens. Alright, maybe we went the wrong way with the timing. Maybe it wants to be more this way. No, it doesn't seem like it's trying to do anything. I don't even know. I can smell gas. Tells me it should be doing something. I guess we can check and see if it's got spark at all, because we haven't done that yet. Just grabbed a random spark plug out of my junk. Well, I wouldn't say junk, it's my trophy making stuff. But you guys watch that for me, let me know if we get anything. If I can get it here somewhere where it might work. Try that. Watch that for me. Let me know what happens. Okay, now I gotta go back and watch that video clip. See if we have spark. Did we have any? You guys let me know? No? I don't know? Okay. Alright, well, you guys might not have really been able to see the greatest on the video, and when I played it back I couldn't really see the greatest either. So I hooked up my standalone crank button here and literally held the spark plug in my hand as I cranked it. No spark to be found. So, first things first, I'm going to unplug our coil. The key is still on. And one of those wires there should have power. If it doesn't, then we'll know we don't have power to our coil, and we'll know why we don't have spark. There's the ground, and there is 11.8 volts. So we got 11.8 volts. and a ground at our coil, and I'm assuming the third wire, probably the signal that goes out to the distributor. So, and we know we got juices flowing. And this is our coil wire going to the cap. So, let's see, I'm probably going to zap the crap out of myself because I'm sweating. Okay. I don't know if you guys can see that. I guess I'll zoom you in a little bit to see if you can see it now, but yeah, that's as close as I can get you. But we'll take our coil wire here and we'll hold it here. And you can see we got spark jumping all over the dang on place. So that tells me one of two things. Either I didn't get a good ground with this with the spark plug, and we'll bring it up here and try it there, or our distributor is not putting out spark. So let's try it again. And that's what it is. No sparky coming from the distributor. We've got caps. We have rotors. Just have to dig into it, figure it out. Alright, so I did some tinkering around. I did a little bit of research. And I found a guy that said if your tack wire on your coil showed ground key on without the motor running, just constant ground, that it was shorted out somewhere, and that your tack signal, or your signal from your coil to your distributor that tells it when to fire, are tied together. So if the wire for the tack is grounded out somewhere, then it's like back feeding the coil or something, and it's not doing its justice thing. So I cut that wire. That's what they said to do. Cut the wire for the tack. I cut it far enough back that I could reconnect it. And there's a good chance I might have to pull a wiring harness and whatever. But honestly, for the time being, I want to make this Suburban nice someday, and it'll get a freshened motor or a new motor or something, and I can go through the whole wiring harness why I got that all out. But so what I did now is I pulled the #1 spark plug out, bumped the motor over to top dead center again, and where I had it at top dead center yesterday was wrong. So I'll get the other camera and bring you guys in here and show you where we're at. But the timing mark on the front of the motor is really hard to see. Like without pulling the whole fan shroud and the fan off, I can't even get a camera in there to show you guys. And yesterday, when I was timing it, I didn't see a timing mark on the bouncer. So I was just going by what I thought. I know I felt it blow my finger out, whatever. Well, today, I pulled the spark plug, bumped it over till it blew my finger out, looked back at the timing marks again, and found a timing mark. Found the timing mark on the bouncer, and I got it set perfect, like at 0. So now I'll go get the camera. I'll show you guys where the distributor's pointing right now, and then I will pull the distributor, rotate it back to where it should be, and then we'll try and see if life treats us better at that point. So back down here, you guys might be able to see right where my end of my thumb is. There's a square. It goes from flat to rounded on the side of the distributor, and that's where number 1 post is, where it goes from the flat to the round on the cap. So that's where we need our rotor pointing, is right here. You see where our rotor's pointing? We're way off. So that could be, well, most likely that is the problem, but that still tells me that it was way out of time when I started, because it was 180 degrees from where I put it, and we're still another probably 30, maybe 40 degrees off now. So it was still 140 degrees out before I moved it. So now we're gonna move it back where it should be, and we'll try again. Fingers crossed, maybe we'll get this thing to start today. Okay, I fought with the oil pump rod and all that stuff, and I got the distributor pointed, if not perfect, close enough that there's adjustment. Some of these style distributors don't have any adjustment, like you have to get them in there perfect. These V8 ones have a little bit. Not very much, but enough that you don't have to be perfect, and I'm lucky because I'm not perfect. But here you go. Here's your corner of your distributor where it goes from straight to crooked. There's our rotor pointed in the right direction. I just got to button that distributor down so it's not moving on us. Put the cap back on, put the plug back in, put the wire back on, yada, yada, yada. And we'll hit the key again and see if we get any better luck this time. All right, I got everything back together. Got our distributor set, got our cap back on, got the distributor locked back down, got everything that I had unplugged, plugged back in, and I have consistent spark. Every time the motor turns over, I get a spark on the number 1 cylinder. So that's good. Now, like I mentioned earlier in the video, there was a fuel pump in the back of the truck. So when I was pushing down on the Schrader valve on the fuel rail, it wasn't really squirting out like it would with 60 PSI, which is what it's supposed to have. It was just kind of like oozing out like a weak fountain. So I went ahead and got my fuel pressure tester out and hooked it up, and I should have filmed it when I turned the key on for you guys, but there you go. Just turn the key on and let it build pressure and shut it off, and it's holding. It goes up to 60, but it holds 58. And part of that might be my gauge, because as I'm moving my gauge around, it's going from 58 to 60. My gauge is kind of a piece of crap. So I know the fuel pump is not bad. I know the fuel pump is working. So now we have spark. I know we have fuel getting into the rail. So nothing left to do but crank on it, see if we got the right ticket to get into the show. So here we go. Is it gonna start? Place your bets in the comments. So close, and it wants to so bad. Not sure, you know, our timing's got to be like exactly right at 0 or 4 degrees before is where it's supposed to fire. And not sure, you know, I'm gonna have to hook it up to the computer, to the scanner, to find out exactly where our timing is. But I'm not gonna get a reading on the computer until it actually runs. So I gotta get it close enough to get it to start. And now our battery's running down again. I did put like 2 gallons of gas in here, but it already had probably 5 or 6 gallons of gas in there, and it's been sitting for a while, so it might just be the case that the gas isn't enough. You know what I mean? It might be too wore out, and the 2 gallons, a gallon and a half, 2 gallons that I put in it isn't enough to bring it back. So I'm gonna let that battery charge up for a little bit again. I'll bring you guys back and we'll kind of tinker with the timing some more and crank it some more, and I don't know, maybe I'll look into some other things, I don't know, but it has air, it has fuel, and I know it has compression. I mean, there shouldn't be anything else keeping it from running, so we'll keep at it and eventually we'll get it going. Okay, well, it's trying really hard to start, and it's got spark. The fuel pump is putting out fuel. I do not know if the injectors are firing. I just have to assume that they are. And I'm just going to throw a set of plugs in it real quick. These plugs look kind of fouled out. They don't look the greatest, so we're just going to take them out, slap some new ones in. I normally don't use anything but AC Doco plugs, but I didn't have over $100 to buy 8 spark plugs, so we got some NGK G-Power because they were $6 a piece. So stuff's getting crazy these days. Gap looks pretty good. The gap on this calls for like a 60 thousandths gap, which is insane. Alright, well, first one's done. I don't think it's going to be really exciting for you guys to sit here and watch me fight through changing 8 spark plugs, so I'm just going to do it. I'll let you know the outcome when we get there. And it still don't start. I am about to go and drive this thing into a lake and walk away. Not really, but I guess we'll keep working on and see what we can figure out, because apparently that wasn't the solution to the problem. Alright, so I haven't even given this thing a name yet. It's Suburban, but I'm about to start calling it the pile, something, I don't know. I've been through everything on this Suburban. I got the timing dead on. I have spark at all 8 cylinders. I did a compression test. I have 150 PSI on all 8 cylinders. I have power to my injectors. I have pulse signals to the injectors. I have fuel pressure, and it still won't start. So what I'm thinking is it sat for a couple years with bad fuel in it, or with fuel in it, and that fuel became bad. And with this setup with the 2 injectors and the spiders with the tips that are kind of junk to begin with, and then they get clogged up and all that stuff, I'm thinking they're kind of clogged up, because I can sit here and crank on it and crank on it and crank on it, and every once in a while it'll hit on a cylinder or 2 or 3. But that's it. And I think that's just, and I keep cranking and keep cranking and keep cranking. It's forcing a little bit of fuel through the gunk, which I was trying to do. I put more good fuel in it. I put 2 bottles of isopropyl alcohol in it to help clean stuff out and whatnot. And it just ain't gonna start. So I'm not giving up. Don't get that wrong. I'm not giving up. I am gonna make this thing run. I thought about maybe doing a motor swap, an LS swap in it, because I can get one of those and put it in here, but I don't want to. I want the Vortec motor, and I thought, this thing says it's got 367,000 miles on it. So I figured this motor was kind of clapped out, and I was gonna get another 350 Vortec motor and rebuild it and put it in here fresh. But 150 pounds of compression with it not running in 3 years is pretty dang good. So I think what I'll do is just, okay, so let me skip ahead. So I'm ordering the upgrade. They make an upgrade for this where instead of having the 2 injectors with the 8 spider legs, they have spider legs with an injector for each cylinder. And it fits in the same upper intake, and it plugs into the same wiring harness, and it does all the same stuff. It just gives you 8 separate injectors instead of 2. And it's supposed to give you more horsepower, a little bit better fuel mileage, and runs a lot better. So rather than taking the whole upper intake off and taking the whole spider out and cleaning it and testing the injectors and all that stuff, I'm just gonna order the upgrade and we'll put it on and then get back to this. So that being said, it's not gonna be here in time for this video to get this thing running. So we're gonna continue on. We're gonna change out the quarter windows, which I had every intention of doing in this video. And we're gonna take the running boards off, and we're gonna get rid of this crap front bumper. And we're gonna wash the outside of it very, very thoroughly. We're gonna clean under the hood very, very thoroughly. And we'll see where we're at when we get to that point. So I may continue on to cleaning up the inside, and we may save that for another video. But either way, we're gonna continue on with this video, and we're gonna continue on with this Suburban, because this old pile of crap is gonna be my daily driver at some point. But I'll show you guys what it's doing now, and then we're gonna move on to some windows. And now I don't even want to kick over. Like usually it tries a little bit. That time it didn't even try a little bit. So I'm gonna get the upgrade. When I do the upgrade, I'll have to pull the whole top of the motor off, which will allow me to double check, clean up the wiring harness and check wires and all that good stuff. In the meantime, let's start working on making the rest of the truck nice. Okay, well, I told you the next thing that we were gonna do was start putting the quarter windows in, and to be honest with you, I wanted to do one of them first because, like I said, I've never done them before. So I wanted to see what I was getting into before I filmed it. And I got all the broken glass out, and I got all the butyl cut down to where it's barely anything. And now I just need to go back with like a wizard wheel or a wire brush or something, try to get the little bit that's left off. And then I got some primer to put on there, and I've got some new butyl, and we can glue the new window in. I'm gonna do that one, and then I'll do the whole process on the other window and record it to show you guys. But in the process of all that happening, since the last time I talked to you guys, 4th of July happened. Pops and my nephew came down and got Swamp Thing. Swamp Thing is gone. It went back to where they live, where my nephew lives with him. And I kind of spent 2 or 3 days hanging out with them, doing a bunch of little stuff that he wanted to do to Swamp Thing before he took it home. And then 4th of July was my wedding anniversary, and 4th of July. So I didn't work that day either. So it's been about a week that I've been over here working all but 4th of July, but I didn't really get anything done on the Suburban, and I didn't get anything done filming wise. So in the process of that, I told you guys that I had ordered the spider injection upgrade for this thing, and that we were gonna get the cleaning up and the windows and all that stuff done. And when the spider injection and everything came in, I would make another video and we'd get this thing running. Well, bam, spider injection is in because we took so long to get everything done. So I really want to hear this thing run before I spend a bunch of time on it. Regardless, I'm going to spend the time on it, but I'd like it to be able to run and move, because if this motor and or trans is no good, then putting the effort into everything else right now is a waste of my time. So since we got the spider injection, I'm going to go ahead. I don't know that I'm going to film a ton of it. I will show you guys what it takes to do this spider injection, but I'm not going to like film it like frame for frame. This, you take this bolt out, you unplug this wire. I'm just going to kind of show you an overview, and I'll keep you updated as I go along. But you got all these wires on this harness up here that need to be unplugged. There's one that wraps around to the back of the AC compressor that needs to be unplugged. You got your low pressure switch here, idle air control, throttle position. Then you can weasel this whole harness out, push it off to the side. You got everything you got to unplug over here, get it off to the side. Throttle and cruise control cables you got to get out of the way. You got to unplug your injection, obviously. Take the throttle body off, unhook your fuel lines, and then this plastic upper intake should come right out. So that's what I'm going to do right now. I'm going to get down to where that plastic upper intake is off, and I'll bring you guys back and show you how far we got and what it looks like. So hang tight. All right, I got this all taken apart. I got my new gasket set. I got my throttle body over here. Got my upper plenum here. And if you look down in there, you'll see a nasty carboned up lower intake. And if you look down on the ground over here, you'll see a nasty carboned up old spider injection. So doesn't look in very good shape. I know for sure I saw one tube that was cracked, and only like 2 out of the 8 nozzles were damp, which tells me only 2 out of the 8 cylinders were getting fuel in them. And I had fuel at the lines going into that, so I know we had fuel there and it wasn't starting. So let's go ahead. I got the new one here. I think I already showed you guys. So I'm gonna get the lower intake cleaned up, and then I'll get that thrown in. I'll get it slammed back together. We'll see if it starts. All right, there's one more thing that I want to go over with this before I finish putting it all back together, because I'm sure there's somebody out there that has a 96 to 99 2000 longer in the vans. I don't know, but Suburban Tahoe pickup with a 350 or a 305, or they even make this setup for the 4.3s also. But I just want to show you guys what the difference is between what I took out and what I'm putting back in, and explain to you why I did it. Now, I'm sure somebody out there or multiple people are going, why'd you do the upgrade when you don't even know if this thing runs? Which I may have already mentioned. I don't think I did, but one way or another, I want this Suburban. I'm going to get it running. So if I have to go and get another motor and rebuild it, which I'm probably gonna end up doing in the long run, whether I get this one running or not, then that's fine, but I'll still be able to use this upgrade that I put in here. And so rather than spending a lot of time and money fixing the factory setup, I went ahead and spent the money and got the upgrade because it's gonna get used regardless. So this is the spider that came out. I already showed it to you, but what it is the injectors are up in here, and then they have the tubes that come down that are just brittle plastic, and they have a tendency to crack and whatnot. And then they've got like this plastic holder down here that pops it into the lower intake to kind of lock it in. And then they have a poppet valve inside there. So that poppet valve not only has to, so the fuel injector has to fire, but it has to fire with enough pressure to not only push it down that hose, but it has to have enough pressure to open that poppet valve also. It's like spring loaded. So there's a spring fighting against the fuel, and it has to push that poppet valve open and push the fuel out. So if you get a weak fuel pump, it won't open those all the way, and it will run like crap. Now, I know we don't have a weak fuel pump because I had a fuel pressure gauge on it the whole time I was trying to start it, and we have a constant 62 PSI of fuel pressure, which is what we need. Now, another problem with those is those plastic tubes get brittle and they crack and they bleed off fuel through the tube into the top of the intake, and the fuel does eventually get into the cylinder, but not when it's supposed to or where it's supposed to, which I think might have been part of what was happening. And that is why I could kind of get it to bump off every once in a while, and it tried to start a couple times. But that being said, those also, the way they're built, they get a lot of carbon up in the tips and stuff. And because they're not a tip that is opening and shooting pressure out, the carbon gets up in there and plugs those tips off. So you get those plugged up with carbon, then they get hot, they get brittle, they crack. You're not getting your good fuel flow to the cylinder, and your truck runs like crap. So here's the upgrade. And this isn't some aftermarket make my stuff better deal. Like Chevy actually came out with this upgrade and went to this in like 99, something like that. But it has fuel tubes that come down, and then this is the injector right here. It's got the wires that come out, and your injectors are in the cylinder. So it's just like on any other kind of vehicle where you have a fuel rail with injectors. So that fires, that opens, that sprays fuel. That's it. That's been known, that upgrade has been known to make more horsepower, not a lot, a little bit better horsepower, a little bit better fuel economy, and make these Vortec 305s, 350s, so on and so forth, run way better. So I just wanted to explain to you guys why I was switching over and show you what the difference was. So I'm gonna go ahead and put it back together, and this thing is going to start. All right, everything's back together. Everything's back to the way it should be. And I have not tried to start it yet. I haven't done anything to it. I put it back together, and put the battery on the charger, went home, came back this morning, and I literally hooked the battery back up. I haven't even grabbed the key for it yet. So here it is. It's all back together. Everything is in place where it needs to be. I'm gonna go grab the key. We're gonna hit it and see if we can't get some fire in the pipes. Okay, well, I've spent hours and hours and hours working on this dang thing, trying to get it to run. We've gone through and we've messed with the timing, and we messed with the firing order, making sure it was right, and we made sure we had spark, and we made sure we had fuel, and we had everything we needed. It was all there. We checked compression. Compression was good. I thought we weren't getting fuel into the cylinder, so we did the spider injection upgrade, and I thought for sure that was the ticket. We had spark, we were getting fuel to the injectors for sure. I just thought maybe, I knew we had injector pulse. I thought maybe we just weren't getting the fuel from the injector to the poppet valve. That didn't fix it either. So I gave up. So we're gonna push this thing out, and no. You guys know me, you know better than that. I don't give up. Pardon the wind. I sat down, I took a break. I haven't been feeling the greatest. I actually went to the doctor this morning, and I probably shouldn't even be working, but we do what we do. And I started doing some research, and I looked around, and we now have a running 1997 Suburban. And it runs pretty good. It's got some old fuel in it. Burning that out and putting some fresh in will probably help a little. But I mean, it's not vibrating, it's not shaking, it don't have a miss, it don't have a stumble. It's happy. I plugged my scanner in, there's no codes. I set the cam retard where it should be. Like, it's good. I'll bring you guys in here a little bit closer so you can see it and hear it and whatever else you want to do. But it's running. 65 psi oil pressure on cold start. Temperature doesn't get hot. My buddy stopped by right after I got it started earlier, and I let it sit here and run for probably an hour. So I still got to button up. I don't have any of my air intake stuff tightened down. I still have to tighten down the distributor now that it's set where it needs to go. But I'm excited. I'm really excited. This thing is running, and it's running good. So I got it fired up. Smoke started pouring out of it. I got a little scared, but it was just this alternator. It's locked up solid. I can't even turn it. Went out on a parts truck, grabbed another one, put it on, hit the key. It busted right back off again, and everything's been good. So I don't think I mentioned it yet, but the problem that kept it from running all this time through all this frustration was just a weak coil. $28 is what I paid for it. I got a $28 coil. Took me about 15 minutes to put it on. First revolution of the motor, fired right up. So just because you have spark doesn't necessarily mean that you have good enough spark. Like, usually you get compressed fuel in a cylinder, any spark at all will ignite it, but apparently this one's a little bit pickier. It wanted a little bit better spark, and like I mentioned to you guys before, this thing's showing 367,000 miles on the clock, and that was the original coil. I had to cut the factory rivets off to get it off the bracket. So that's it, $28 coil. She's running. Next thing I gotta do, I gotta finish cleaning up the butyl on that window, And I'll get that window put in, and then I'll bring you guys back and I'll show you the whole process of putting the other window in. And then we're going to get this thing cleaned up and straightened up and make it daily driver material. So hold tight, and we'll be back on it right in a second. Alright, well, I know I said I was going to do the windows next, and I told you I was going to do the one side because I'd never done them before. And then I'd bring you back and show you how to do the other side. And I got the side done that I had never done before to learn how to do it. And then you may be able to notice, I don't know how close of attention you've been paying, but Suburban's turned around. So I got the one window in yesterday afternoon and turned it around so that it would be easier, or not easier, but I'd be in the shade. That's the reason. So I'd be in the shade and closer to my fans to do the other window, and without the sun just shining wherever the heck it decides it wants to shine. It's easier for filming purposes. So I got her turned around. I was thinking about it, and with all the cranking that I did on this thing, trying to start it, and I know it was getting fuel, and it wasn't burning off said fuel. The fuel was most likely running down into the oil pan, and that means it was breaking down our oil that we already didn't know anything about. And so I decided, for what it cost and how easy it is to do, I'd just go ahead and do an oil change on it, because that way I know when the oil change was done, and I know it has good oil in it, and we might save the life of this thing a little bit by not running it with all the fuel and oil. So I already went underneath, obviously, and drained it out, changed the filter, put the plug back in, and now I'm just filling it up with oil. So we'll get it filled up. Another thing that I want to do is take the running boards off. I'll show you guys those in a minute. One of the reasons I want to take them off is because they're cracked and broken and not in the best of shape, and the other reason I want to take them off, and the main reason I want to take them off, is because I just think they're ugly, and I don't like them, so I'm going to take them off. So I got a couple things under the hood here I got to do. Obviously finished putting the oil in. I haven't tightened down the clamp on the distributor since I got the timing adjusted where it needed to be. And I still have to tighten down all the hose clamps on all the intake stuff, because I haven't done that yet either. So that's what we're going to do. I'm going to finish putting oil in and button up a couple things under the hood, and then I'll bring you guys back and we'll yank those running boards off of here. So, and I'm not asking for anything special or anything, but just bear with me on this video, guys. I'm sick as a dog, actually. I'm just trying to fight through it, and there's been a lot of stuff going on, so this video has been stretched over like 3 weeks, and so I might lose track of where I'm at, what I'm doing, what I've told you. So just bear with me, and we'll get back on track, back to the norm on the next one. So I'm excited about this one. I love Suburbans. I'm glad we got it running. I really want to make this thing a good driver. So we're just tinkering around, and we're going to get done what we can, but we'll get through it. Alright. I'm going to get down under here. I think I got the right tools that I need. There's like 6 braces that bolt up inside the inner rocker. They each got 2 nuts on them. So I'm going to go and take all the nuts off, and then we should just be able to pop this thing off of here, and just have to go over and do the same thing on the other side. Alright, got that one off. Still have all 10 fingers. I'm gonna run over to the other side, do the same thing over there, and then we'll be ready to set this thing down, start replacing this window. Okay, got everything under the hood buttoned up, everything underneath buttoned up. I got those less than desired by me running boards off. I got the oil change finished up. I got all the intake tubes and everything else put back on, secured like the first time they've been mounted since it's been here. Tightened down the distributor clamp, a whole list of stuff. When I was underneath doing the oil change, I found out that the nut on the pitman arm was so loose I could take it off by hand. So I went ahead and tightened that up because I doubt a pitman arm would ever fall off, but I wouldn't want it to when I was driving down the road. So now we're gonna get started on this window, and we got this piece right here. It's kind of like the rear, and we got a mahogany wasp right there too. I'm not trying to get stung. Sorry. This piece right here is like a trim. It goes behind the window, but it's got 3 bolts on the outside, and then there's 3 bolts inside the door that take it off. So it's easier. Like I said, the window on the other side is the first one I've ever done. I'll go ahead and show that one to you guys if you didn't already see it when I was walking around, but we got it in. It's pretty. I put it in yesterday, so it's been sitting all night. And I'll tell you what, that butyl stuff ain't no joke. That window is not coming back off unless I pry it. So I want to get this one done today. It's the end of the day and I feel like crap, like I said, but I want to get this one done today because then I can let it sit all night and all day tomorrow while we do some other stuff tomorrow, and then it can sit over the weekend. If I get everything done tomorrow that I want to, then it can sit all weekend and we won't pressure wash it and clean the outside until Monday. So that should work out good. That's my plan. I don't know if it's gonna work out that way or not, but anyways, we're gonna get going. We're gonna replace this window. First things first, 6 bolts, take a 7mm socket. We're gonna get that out, and then we'll start working on getting the rest of the old window out of there. I'm sure there's better ways to do this, but this is what I came up with on the other side, and it worked. So we're gonna do it again on this side, and hopefully it works again. But I got a pretty thick, somewhat sharpened, hammerable scraper here, and a hammer, and just get in behind this butyl. Oh, hey, look. That's already coming off. I didn't even do anything to that. It just, okay, I'll take it. Don't know that that's good that the window was falling out, but yeah, this sucker is coming off really easy compared to the other side. Okay, well, that went fairly quick so far. I can assure you 100% the other side did not come off this easy or this quick. I had about, I don't know, probably 4 hours in prepping that other side, getting it all scraped off and sanding it down and all that stuff. And this side, it looks like we're gonna have about 4 minutes. So I gotta, man, I wish I would have filmed the other side now. This is a joke. But yeah, so I guess sometimes you get lucky and sometimes you get kicked in the face. So on the other side I got kicked in the face, and this side I'm getting lucky. So next thing I did on the other side that I'm going to do on this side, which we don't need very much of, I just got a regular razor blade scraper here and came through and got all the extreme excess off. Oops, broke my razor blade, you know, whatever. Good thing I buy them by the box, huh? This side, it almost looks like when they initially glued the window on, like at the bottom, they missed. I don't know how, because everybody I talked to and the way I did the other side, I went through and put the butyl on here, but if they put it on the window first, which it clearly looks like they did, they totally just missed the bottom. That's nuts. So I'll bring you guys in here and show you. You can see it before I clean it the rest of the way up. They just like put the butyl on the window and it didn't stick to the body. So I guess since 97, this thing's been running down the road with the bottom of the window not really secured, I guess. Whatever. Alright. Got all the excess off. Now we're going to grab a wizard wheel and clean up what we couldn't get with the razor blade. I'll just bring this camera over and try to show you guys what I'm talking about. I don't know if you're going to be able to see or not, but yeah, you can see it. You see where that butyl comes down here, the black line, and then it just cuts off the corner, and then there's nothing down there but fresh paint. They got that butyl up in between the trim and the body, and it wasn't even, like, it was just barely on the body. It caught it a little bit more as it went down towards the back, but not what it should have been. So, okay, moving on. Believe it or not, I actually read the instructions, like on the butyl, the glue that holds the window on, and it says you don't have to get all the old stuff off, just as much as you can. Well, in my thought process, the way I work, as much as I can is all of it, because I can physically get it all off. So I'm putting in the extra work to get it cleaned. So that's what we're doing. And it's taking it down to bare metal, but that's okay, because I'll show you the very next step after we clean it is there's a primer that you have to put down. So just make sure you get all the bare metal spots covered in primer, which, like I said, I'll show you in a minute, and it'll all be okay. So. Okay, now that I got that all ground down, I'm just taking some, this is just spray away glass cleaner. I'll put it on here. I want to get this as clean as I can so that everything that we're putting on here, as in primer and then the butyl on top of the primer, sticks good, because I don't want to be driving down the road and have my window fall out. So I want to make sure that we clean everything the best we can so that we get a good bond. Not only that, but there's area that's behind the glass and the seal that's pretty dirty, so we have an opportunity while the window's out to kind of clean it out. Why not do it? All right. We are cruising right along with this. Like I said, that other side took me way longer. So, next thing we need is this little stuff right here. And let me tell you what, you do not want to buy it. If you order it online, it's cheap. If you need it in a pinch and you go buy it from the parts store, $70 for this little bottle. So, this is called, it's glass replacement pre-treatment, but one-step primer. That's what it, one-step multi-functional primer. And that's what it is, one-step primer. You put it out on all the bare metal and everywhere that the butyl is going to go. And then you let it dry for at least 5 minutes. And then it's good to go. I'll show you guys what this looks like up close once I get it all done. I'm going to speed this up for you because it's going to take a minute with this little brush to go all the way around this window, but stuff's actually pretty cool. Like, it dries as you're brushing it on. Like, when the brush is running out of paint, it's drying. So. And this stuff is like if you want to buy some because you need it, you definitely want to order it online ahead of time and get it for 20 bucks, because I used this yesterday and they say it's good for like 48 hours once you open it, and then it dries up and it's not any good anymore. So in other words, like, once I'm done with this bottle, once I'm done with this window, this bottle's gonna go in the trash. So, but all right, I'll speed this up for you guys. We'll get this put on here, and then we'll get the window out and start prepping it. All right, there it is. Got that all primered. It's been sitting there for a while. I got all the old butyl cleaned off the window. These aren't brand new windows. These came from a salvage yard, but got it all cleaned off of there. Got this primered. So now it's got to sit for 5 minutes, but that ain't no big deal, because the next thing I got to do is squeeze the butyl out onto there. And if you've never squeezed butyl before, I'm pretty sure you'd rather get punched in the face with a hammer. But anyways, my buddy Art came over to give me a hand setting the window in and getting tape on it, because it's a little bit easier with 2 people. So you guys will see him, but I'm gonna go ahead and get the butyl put on, and then we'll get the window set in there. All right, this is the butyl. It's polyurethane adhesive. You want to give yourself a big like alligator mouth on your tip. It's tips like this, and you cut it like that. Yeah, you get the picture. I got this opened up. I had already used this tube yesterday a little bit, but like I said, I'm going to put it on the body, and then we'll pick the window up and set it up there.
Yep, just like that. You do good.
Looks like a good beat. It looks like it's getting a good beat on it.
Yep. That's why I'm standing here watching.
I did the top first this time because then by the time my arm's tired, I can get both hands on there.
That's perfect.
You guys will not like doing this if you ever do it. This stuff does not like coming out of this tube. It's a little bit better when it's warm, but a little bit better, still not good.
I can't imagine doing that when it's like 32 degrees outside.
I wouldn't. I would not do it if it was under like 90.
Yeah.
I like it this way better. I think my hand's still hurting from yesterday. Not enough. I guess that's kind of a waste too, because we won't be able to save that and use it again.
That's all good. I'm sure we can get the ball
Alright, we ready?
This is the top, right?
Yes.
You ready?
Yep. I'm gonna let you set your end first today.
Yeah, I want to make sure it's right up here. I got the bottom set.
Alright, I got my box.
All right,
set.
it needs to go your way. Just a hair more. That. Come back to me. Just a hair. Oh, that's good. Perfect. Good. Good.
That front got to come down a little. Looks like it's up a little bit.
What do you want, down?
Too late. I think it's fine.
It's down.
Yeah, that's right.
I can't get my fingernail between it.
It's just this is kind of rolled and that's not. It'll come back. It's probably just the way
Yeah,
it's
this
sitting
is
in the
not
truck.
either. It might have been sitting somewhere.
Well, it was wrapped up in
Bubble wrap.
no tarp, so that it didn't break.
This is good.
You just got to tap it and say that ain't going nowhere. I'm gonna try doing the windshield myself too.
You did pretty darn good.
Huh?
I said, you did good.
I think I'm gonna start doing the windshield myself.
Why not?
Yeah. Can't be too much different, right?
This is perfect.
Better than the other side. That's because you lined it up.
I like the other side up too.
Well, you had practice.
That's right. Practice makes perfect. I like it. Looks good.
Get this piece in and then
That's my arms because I didn't want to press on the center of the glass.
yeah,
You know,
we'll get this piece in and then we'll go get the
okay.
tape it on. Yeah, that's just curled down. I'm not gonna mess with it. Well, even at 70, you can still add stuff to your resume.
That's right. That's right. I'm always trying. Boy, that fit good.
Yeah.
That's great.
Yeah, this one came out real good. The other side came out good too.
Oh,
It's just
yeah,
this one seems to be a little bit more.
This is perfect.
Yeah.
The other one's great.
Yeah.
I got it.
I'm okay with great.
So am I.
Perfect is just a word that we make up because we think we want.
That's true.
How good is it? Good enough. That's what it is.
I will not slam the store.
No, it's good enough. That's what it is. All right, windows in, trim pieces back in. I want to publicly thank Art for helping me.
Anytime.
He came over and helped with the other side too. You guys heard us talking about it. We were kind of joking around about what's good enough. Put a couple pieces of tape on there. I put a couple pieces of tape on the other side yesterday, and I pulled it off today, and it was fine. Like, we could pull out, I could grab a hold of this window and pull out on it, and I don't think we could get it back off right now. That stuff latches that quick, because we tried to move the one yesterday, and it wasn't moving, so that's it. I'm gonna put a piece of tape on the back, probably two on the top, and tomorrow morning when I come back over, I will bring you guys in here and show it to you when it's all set. All right, well, it's another day. We're back on this long should have been short project of will it run Suburban? And yes, it will run. And I had a little bit of problem with my daily driver yesterday, and I hopped in it and drove it home, drove it back this morning. Has all the gears, needs a little bit of steering and suspension work, but nothing major. So we got it back over to the shop. I got it out here on the wash bay, and to say it's dirty would be an understatement. So it's pretty nasty. The new windows haven't fallen out yet, so I take a little bit of pride and accomplishment in that. But I mean, the outside looks pretty bad, and it's extremely clean compared to the inside. So it's in pretty rough shape, but we're gonna clean everything up as good as we can. Down the road, I'm gonna look into getting, come on, oh, sorry about that. Down the road, I'm gonna look into getting some new seats and stuff, making stuff better. But for now, first things first, you may notice if you watch the channel all the time, I've got it sitting out here on the wash bay. So I'm gonna drag the pressure washer out here, get some water flowing, and we're gonna clean this thing up. Alright, well, I've got something here you guys have never seen on the channel before. It's a wash bucket. And it has soap and a wash mitt in it. So, I don't normally wash stuff. Sometimes I don't normally hand wash stuff. I usually just pressure wash it and then I'll buff it, but we're not going to buff this one. For one thing, I plan on doing a color change paint on it, and the paint's in rough shape. It's got multiple paint jobs on it. Whatever else, I'm not really going to get nothing out of buffing it. So I'm just going to hand wash it, try to get it looking clean the best that I can, and then once we get past that, then the outside's going to be about as good as it is. I'll keep it clean, wash-wise, but other than that, it's going to be good enough till it gets painted. So, just going to run through and wash this, everything I can reach, really quick, and we'll move on to the inside. I don't sound very enthusiastic about that. I'm sure after me showing you what the inside looks like, you can presume why I don't seem very enthusiastic about that. Well, I just spent the last 3 hours hand washing that Suburban, and now this is what we got, and it's sitting out there getting rained on. So it's too late now, it's already getting rained on. Not a chance of rain in the sky. Didn't look like any chance it would rain, and well, it did, so hopefully it don't dirty it up too bad. All right. We got it over here. The rain finally died down enough that I could do something. Broken sending unit. We'll keep the sock. Keep the fuel pump. Fuel pump install kit. Another sock. If you haven't already figured it out, it's time to start working on cleaning up the inside. I'm not gonna like fully redo the inside today or in this video. I just want to get it cleaned so that you can actually like sit in it without that's got holes eaten in it. So you can actually sit in it without getting gross and whatnot. So just cleaning all the garbage out, we'll vacuum it out, we'll wipe it down, clean the mold. Anybody need a pillow? I'll give it to you. I'll even sign it. Just kidding. We're gonna throw that away. This door panel is for the driver's side back door that doesn't open. So we gotta get that all sorted out. Got our missing hubcap for the front. That's cool. Don't use spray them. Don't know what that fits. So in the garbage it goes. You guys don't need me to sit here and talk about everything that I pull out of here. So I'm just gonna go ahead and finish cleaning up this back area. I gotta get the vacuum over here. Before I get the vacuum over here, I'll bring you guys in here and show you everything. It's bird poop and broken glass and whatever else has made it in here. So I'll get it cleaned up and then I'll catch you up on the back and then we'll move on. Okay, went through the whole truck. I took the third row seat out because it's gonna need to be replaced also or recovered or something, and the tracks and locks are rusty and the latches are rusty, so it all needs to be cleaned up and lubed and worked and everything else. I pulled it out, got all the trash out, and we're pretty much to the point of starting to vacuum. So pulled out all the floor mats, pulled all the mud dauberness out, pulled all the crap out of the back seat, floor mats there, took the seat covers off the front seats. Yes, it does need some, but those were kind of nasty and I didn't really want to sit in them. So for right now, until I figure out if I'm going to get new seats or put seat covers on or whatever, I will just lay a towel on them or something to sit on them. But anyways, got it cleaned out. We're gonna vacuum it the best I can. Like I said, we're not gonna be doing any like restoration in this video. I just want to get it vacuumed out, cleaned up, and all wiped down. So get all the mold wiped out, get all the bird poop wiped out, get all the glass and dirt and everything out. And I got some leather conditioner and stuff like that, but I don't even think I'm gonna waste my time putting it on because the seats are too far gone anyways. So I'm gonna go ahead and pull the vacuum out here. I'll get it all vacuumed up as good as I can. I'll bring you guys back and show you if it's any cleaner. All right, I am literally almost on my deathbed. Sweated through my second shirt today, and it's time to go home. So I got go home, spend time with the family, whatnot. So that means that today's coming to an end, and so is this video. If I don't put this video up tomorrow, that'll be 3 full weeks without a video, because I've been working on this thing for 3 full weeks, and I can't do that. I got to get a video up so you guys have something to watch, and so I can keep growing my channel. And speaking of growing my channel, if you're not subscribed, please do. Ring the bell. If you are subscribed or not subscribed or whatever, hit the like button, leave me a comment, tell me something good, tell me something bad, whatever. Just hit some buttons, it helps. I got everything to the back of the front seats, the front bucket seats, vacuumed, and everything but the top of the seat wiped down with Simple Green, and I gotta go home, so I'm stopping, but I'll show you guys this. That's all clean, door jambs and plastics and all that. All this is as clean as I can get it. All that's as clean as I can get it. The carpet is thoroughly vacuumed. There's a couple little pieces here and there, but I gotta replace it, it's junk. And then I got this door open. The inside handle's broke, but the rod's right here. If you pull the rod by hand, it'll open. So that tells me that the latch is good. Just the outside handle probably isn't hooked up, and the inside handle, or maybe the lock is on, I don't know. But either way, I can get it open. So I wiped down the driver's seat because I'm gonna be sitting in it. Got the floors all done, wiped down that door. I wiped off the steering wheel a little bit, and I wiped this door panel off just where my arm's gonna go and stuff. But man, this thing's been some work. I'm not done with it. Like, we're not just gonna say, all right, that's the end of the Suburban. It's not. I'm gonna finish cleaning it because I'm gonna start driving it, just because I like Suburbans and I want to drive it. But I want to make it nice, like use as a family vehicle and whatnot. So I'm gonna see if I can put some money together and get a whole new interior for this thing. If nothing else, at least carpet and seats. And I've got a parts truck over there that has the same color interior that I can get radio knobs and glove box doors and stuff like that. Little door panel pieces, stuff like that. That one has good stuff like that. And here's the other door panel and a bunch of the missing pieces and stuff like that. So that's gonna do it. That's as far as I'm going with it in this video, and we will revisit it. It will be back on the channel, but like I said, for right now, I think I'm just gonna clean it up enough that I feel like it's clean enough for me to drive, and I'll drive it around while I work on getting some money together to put seats and carpet in it. So, but I'll walk you guys around one more time so you can kind of see it cleaned up. I'm not gonna say it's a beauty queen, but you know, it's at least runner up compared to what it was. It doesn't look too bad. So I still got to fix this marker light. I have a bumper that's in better shape, but it's got a big dent in it. I don't know if I want to switch them or not. I'm going to think about it, but follow me on social media. Harmon_garage, I believe, on Instagram, and just Harmon Garage on Facebook. And I'll update this on videos or make another video about it down the road when I get parts for it. But I will post pictures of it as I go on social media. So if you want to see what's going on with the Suburban, like those two, check that out. But as it sits right now, that's going to do it for this one. Thank you guys so much for watching. If it wasn't for you guys, I wouldn't be able to do this. Y'all have a good one. We'll see you next time.